Well, the Environment Secretary Michael Gove warned recently that winter is coming. He was talking about Brexit, but referring, of course, to the famous line from Game of Thrones. And in fact, Game of Thrones itself is coming to some parts of the UK, at least as it goes on tour to coincide with the show's final season, which begins later this month.
I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
Well, with me is Sue Perkins. She hosts the Thronecast on Sky Atlantic. Welcome to you indeed. Well, we're all very excited, aren't we?
Absolutely. So, are you a fan, I take it?
Yeah.
Oh, so, favourite character? Can I draw you on that?
I don't know, what, Tyrion or Daenerys or you've got to have a man and a woman, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I'm a fan of Cersei. Cersei's manipulations and double-crossing.
Fantastic acting.
She's extraordinary. She's extraordinary. So, yes, it's back 15th of April.
Yeah, and now you do the kind of reaction discussion,
yes.
Viewers reacting to it.
Yeah.
Do you ban Brexit, or does Brexit wars come into the discussion of Game of Thrones?
Because the show is so extraordinary, we don't need to mention Brexit, but the more one talks about Game of Thrones, the more the natural, you know, sort of parallels do emerge.
I mean, you could be up against a Tory leadership contest at the same time, you know, and I remember when the original House of Cards coincided with the fall of Thatcher, and so reality...
Yes, exactly, mirrors it perfectly. Well, we'll stay very much in our world and let's... I mean, sometimes it feels like Game of Thrones is more procedural compared to the fantasy elements of sort of governance at the moment.
Would the world be better if I mean, you know, we heard a lot about political dinosaurs, but would it be better if we had dragons, do you think?
Dragons would certainly end the deadlock. I mean, if you deployed a dragon over Westminster, I think things would motor pretty quickly. And,
I mean, there's this zombie dragon now, isn't there? One of the three got killed.
Yes. Spoilers. Yes. So the
well, no, that's
King,
in the last. Oh, sorry.
Yes, but the Night's King sort of killed one of Daenerys' dragons, and now, yes, working for the dark side, and laid waste to the Great Wall.
Yeah.
Destroyed it in one icy breath. So the battle between the living and the dead now is going to occupy the last season.
Do you know what's going to happen?
I don't know anything. When we started out doing the companion show, we were given tapes to watch a week in advance. I just had to type in a password and I could see it all. And then gradually, as the show's become more of a global phenomenon, we're not allowed to see it. I think 2 years ago I was allowed to see it the day before in an edit suite with 3 cameras trained on me to make sure I wasn't, duplicating a copy. And now I watch it at 2 a.m. as everyone else does, and they're simultaneously.
Because of American time, you have to watch, and then you have to go straight into. Into a new show.
We just get the headlines of the episode, so we can sort of garner from that what may or may not be happening.
And I mean, it has become huge.
Huge.
Why do you think?
Because part of it's very easily relatable. So it's a sort of soap opera on one hand, and we're all used to sort of political machinations and the quest for power and ambition. And then, but it's displaced into a fantasy zone where there are, as you say, there are dragons and there are White Walkers, zombies, and so we can process actually quite difficult things about human nature through the prism of ludicrousness.
Do you think it's sort of softened a bit in as much as in the early series? It was brilliant because major characters would get killed or written off.
You just love that bit. You love the gore and the slaying.
Well, no, because it was kind of like real life in a sense that happens. But now we've got that cast of, I suppose, about 8 characters, and they don't really want to see the back of any of them. I mean, take Jon Snow. He was killed, but they had to bring him back. Has it got more schmaltzy, do you think?
For me, actually, I think it's obviously the first few seasons were very true to the books, and they've subsequently departed because poor George R.R. Martin can't write books quick enough. Now, I think you mentioned House of Cards. For me, it's become much more about the political infighting, and I love that.
But I mean, in the end, it's going to be like everything else, isn't it? That Daenerys and Jon Snow are going to cop off together and live happy ever after.
I don't believe a word of that. That's not that. I mean, I don't know. I have been given no inside information, but I don't think that's how it's going to pan out.
Well, you think it'd be a sad ending?
I think Well, I've heard somebody said somebody said that there are scenes that make the Red Wedding look like a sort of a picnic. So I think there's going to be a lot of characters that we love.
Well, that would be the
falling.
Nightwalkers annihilating everybody. That would be one solution.
Now that's a very nihilistic end game. So you're thinking that the zombies will end up on the throne, and the throne will turn to ice underneath his tush.
Yeah, winter really would have arrived.
Who would you like to see on the throne? Who's your preferred?
It's got to be the Mother of Dragons, hasn't it?
See, I think that's going to be too obvious. I'm going to go for Sansa. That's my pick. But again, I don't know.